Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, guys, child, y'all know what time it is, baby. We here to talk about Tyler Perry Sistas, Mending Fences, Season 6, Episode 6, child. We are once again gathered for the foolishness and the foolery of it all. And, baby, it wasn't really much going on, to be honest with y'all. What I want to know, my question that I have for tonight is, who is more clueless? Is it Karen? Is it Zach? Or is it both y'all? Are they equally clueless? Because that's what they was giving me. Clueless. All right. We got Aaron popping up once again, even though he's been warned 11,000 times, baby, not to show up. He gonna show his face any daggone way. We got Danny waking up, can't remember a damn thing, okay, because she was getting high, high, high. So apparently she came home and rolled Preston like they was at the rodeo, all right? We got Hayden got married. Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? Why is this in the story? Why do we care? Why do we want to know? Oh, child, the questions that I have for y'all, okay? And we got Sabrina and Maurice trying to get over to this lawyer. But, of course, Maurice got to play games, got to act like he a whole damn child, even though his life is on the line. He don't want to go see the lawyer. But I am questioning since when Bayo was the one that was getting the lawyer, honey, because I thought it was damn Andi. And y'all know anything that got to do with Bayo, I do not trust it. I do not trust it. I do not trust it. So I kind of felt where Maurice was coming from. But, we're going to go ahead and go to the lawyer and see what he's talking about, all right? We got Fatima out here, child. She over it. She's still not trying to sit around and mess with Jack and his shenanigans. She ready to take the damn ring off. Is it over for Zach and Fatima? If so, why are we getting Fatima? Why did you even put this all together, damn Tyler Perry, just to rip it all apart, baby? I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. Because, honey, we ended out this daggone episode with Fatima standing on that side, honey. When they turned around, if looks could kill, they would have been out of here, y'all. And Andi was sitting in daggone, Karen's face, saying to her, girl, is you really this stupid? Is you really this clueless? Like, why are we going down this road again? Andi was asking the right questions in this episode. She also asked Zach, what the hell are you doing? Like, make it make sense, boy, okay? I'm telling you these things, and you still don't see what's right in front of your face. Let's go ahead and get into this episode, child. Break it on down, okay? From the top. You know how we do. So, guys, I do apologize. I know that this is late, and it's even later now than I wanted it to be. I had a live earlier, and then, child, this is the third time I'm trying to record this for y'all. If it don't come out this time, then I'm probably not going to try it again till tomorrow, because I was tired, y'all. But we going to try, and hopefully this one is going to go through. So, we started out with Danny and Preston in the daggone bed. She don't remember nothing. She talking about, why are you here? Okay, why are you here? And he's like, girl, you don't remember you was basically trying to jump on top of me as soon as you got in. And, of course, as soon as he's saying that, then her memory starts to come back a little something. And she like, oh, yeah, I did come in and jump on you, Oh, well, maybe I better not smoke like that no more. Maybe I better not drink like that no more. Because I was high, high, high. He was like, yeah, you was. I know. I can tell, right? And so she's telling him, okay, you could get up out of here. And he's like, what? He was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, yeah, don't you got that girl? You got to go ahead home too. And he's saying she's gone. And she was like, she's gone? He's like, yeah, I seen what you went through with Karen yesterday and how sad you was and all of that. And so, he's telling her how she was trying to ride it like a cowgirl all night or whatever, right? And so he's like, you got to give me a little warning next time, all right? And so she was like, well, you got your warning and you could get up. And so he's just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So she's like, yeah, we're not doing this. And he was like, well, we already did this. And she was like, yeah, but we're not going to keep doing it, all right? We're not going down this road. So he like, come on now, you sure did love it and I sure did love it or whatever, right? And you came in here saying a lot of things or whatever, right? So she was like, basically denying that she ever said it. He's telling her, you was getting excited. You was telling me you love me. You was telling me you apologize for everything that happened and you sorry for how everything went down. And she was like, now I know I didn't say that. And he was like, she tells him that may be what you heard, but that's not what I said. So, of course, we know typical Danny, she's not going to want to, have these conversations. And she was like, that's that on that, and that's the end of this. you know. So she was like, you know, basically saying that she gonna go ahead and head in the bathroom and start getting ready for work, and you know, he could go ahead and find that girl. And when he said she was gone, she was like, is she now? And he was like, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I know you needed me here because I seen how sad you was about Karen. And she was like, yeah, that was a lot. So he's telling her how they need to be straight up and they need to be honest. And she was like, I am. And he was like, I know you are. And I know that we see things completely different or whatever. But at the end of the day, you did tell me you love me. And she was basically like, oh, here we go. He was like, no, you did say that. She was like, no, I didn't. So he was like, I know you're scared of getting a broken heart and all of that kind of stuff, right? And she was like, that may have been what you heard, but that's not what I said. So he was like, well, then how did I hear it if you didn't say it? You know, of course, we going to do a whole bunch of back and forth. And he said, you know, he should have recorded it. And she was like, you better not have. Then he tells her, well, you was doing some recording last night. You filmed us having sex. And she basically was like, I did not make a sex tape, Preston. And he like, all right, if you say so. He was like, you know, what the hell was you smoking? And she was like, I don't know, but it was strong. So then she was like, oh, I need to call my weed man. And he was like, yeah, you might want to do that. I said, girl, I don't think that's the last thing you need to do, okay? So now when she go to look at the phone to call the weed man, it's like, see, you did make a sex tape, okay? And she was like, well, you know, he's telling her, look, and she was like, well, posted a picture though, right? So she done been posting stuff on her damn, you know, online or whatever and everything as well. So now, you know, he just kept saying, you know, I'm telling you. And she was like, no, you're full of shit, Preston, or whatever the case may be. And now we're going to say we never smoking again. And he was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea because you smoked enough last night for all of us, right? And she's like saying that it's been fun though. And then she's like, this is not funny or whatever, right? So he was like, you may not remember it, but I do. Now at this point, of course, she, you know, he was saying he liked her like this. And she was like, what, high out of my mind? And he was like, no, just straight up and honest. I like that part of you or whatever, right? And so she's just like, shit. And he like, where you going? And she says to get away from you. So, of course, we going to run in the bathroom. You know, he telling her don't be embarrassed. And, of course, you know, typical Danny. And she's still looking at the phone and still seeing more things. And he's like, yeah, I did that. And I can't believe you licked my butt. And she was like, now you getting crazy. Now I know you lying, you know, whatever the case may be, right? So he talking about that dude must have really rubbed off on her, whatever. And she's just like, you're disgusting. So, you know, whatever. It is what it is with Danny and Preston. Because I don't know why we going to continue to play these games. But, you know, she go ahead to get to work. I mean, you know, get in the bathroom so she can start getting ready for work. Now, meanwhile, over at Andy's house, Cameron bring her behind me and she's saying she got something to tell her. Cameron saying I got something to tell you, and she's like, you go first. So she tells her how Pam told her to call Zach, and she was like, well, why would she do that? And why would you do that? And she's like, oh, because he offered to give me the money. And Andy's like, okay, and I offered to give you the money. And I'm like, yeah. You know, here she go. Oh, but I want to take it from him. You know, let's not forget that Aaron offered too, even though I can honestly understand why she wouldn't take it for Aaron. But I can't understand why she turned Andy down and why we got to take it from him. I mean, we know why, but I'm just being sarcastic, right? So she talking about something, I want to take it from him. So she's like, yeah, but why? Okay, why are we going back down this damn road? So she was like, so you called him and what happened? She's like, yes, I did. She was like, and what did he say? So she's like, well, he was very sweet. He was very kind. You know, it reminded me like how he used to be way back when. This, you know, he haven't been that way since God knows when. Then she walked in. And Andy's like, okay. And then what happened? You know, oh, well, then he changed up and he got real cryptic or whatever. But he ain't get off the phone. So Andy's like, okay. And she was basically like, Andy, don't just say, okay, come on now. And she was like, well, I'm just basically listening. She was like, no, you're my friend. And Andy said, well, I'm both your friends. And then here we go. Oh, but you've been my friend longer. I've known you longer. Ding, 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 ding. So she's like, I know, Cameron. She was like, well, I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to listen. So Andy's like, okay, I'm going to listen. So, of course, she says that he had told her he would help with rebuilding the salon, helping her reopen and all of that. And she's like, okay. And then she's like, that's it. I'm done. Finished. Finito. Right? And so, of course, that's when she was asking her, like, why him? Oh, because he offered. Well, I offered. She was like, is it because he's the baby daddy? All right. Inquiring minds want to know. And so she was basically like, no, I told you that I wasn't going to tell him first, and we ain't about to sit here and talk about this now, And so Andy also brought up, like, okay, we can continue this conversation with all the girls. How about we all meet up together and have, a talk with them? Because she was saying to her, like, he still loves, Zach loves Fatima. Like, that's what it is, girl. And she's over here talking about, well, you saw the way he acted when, he thought I was dead. And she was like, yeah, because he thought you was dead. That's how we all was acting. And she was like, no, when situations like that happen, it bring out the truth. I said, girl, that ain't bringing out no damn truth. Of course he got love for you. And of course he gonna be worried if he thought something happened to you and thought you was dead. You would be thinking the same way too if it was the opposite way and it was him, okay? Does not mean that he's in love with you and he want to get back with you. And that's why I was kind of pissed that Zach said that to her, because he already knows how she was acting damn before, and you just can't talk like that to damn Karen. So nonetheless, you know, Andy is basically, just telling her, like, please, we close that book. That chapter is closed. Don't reopen anything. And she's telling her that she's not reopening anything, right? And she was like, I know him. Now we back to that bull crap again, right? And he knows me. And so she's like, okay, Karen. And then Karen is like, okay, yeah. So she's like, well, anyway, what did you want to tell me? Because they had started talking about whether, the body was still in there yet, like, hasn't even got moved, because she was like, girl, let's wait, let's talk some more, whatever. And she was like, the girls are just gonna want to know who the baby daddy is. They gonna be going on and on about that. I said, as they should. I mean, Andy said that's a fair question, right? We all damn want to know, girl, and we know you gonna drag it out. So she was saying she had to get to the salon. And Andy was like, is the dead body in there? So she was like, no, girl. She was like, it was the homeless man or whatever. And she said they got it out of there last night. She could have said him. She didn't have to call it him or it, but okay. So she basically was like, they trying to find the family and all of that. So she was like, well, what was it that you had going on? And Andy was like, well, that actually doesn't seem like, a good segue. It doesn't really seem important now when the fact that we just was talking about a damn whole ass dead body that you got in your shop that had to be moved out. But she was like, it basically was about Gary, and she of course gives her the breakdown of everything she said to Gary. Well, not everything, the pieces that she could remember, because of course she claiming she was so high that she got a little bit of the same amnesia that Danny do, but apparently she remember a little bit more than Danny, because she was like, I just was telling him about how I really was only with him for the sex, and how I prefer somebody that's taller. I said some things, and Karen is like, okay, and what's the problem? All right, like, basically you spoke the truth. And she was like, yeah, but I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. And she was like, no, that's exactly the way you needed to say it. Now when it comes to this part, I agree wholeheartedly 100% with Karen, child. All right, that's when she be making sense to me when it comes to that. And so, of course, Andy talking about the details is a little foggy, but she knows that she did say some things or whatever the case may be. And some of it she just feels like she probably shouldn't have said it, or she should have said it in a different way. And Karen was like, you told him the truth, so what's the problem or whatever? Like, he needed to hear it like that and stuff like that. So she basically was like, she gonna go ahead and get up out of there or whatever and go to meet Zach at the salon. So, Andy says she also needed to hear what she was saying to him. And Karen was like, yeah, well, we warned you. And she was like, yeah, I know. And she was like, well, anyway, what I'm saying? Like, that's that on that, all right? Enough about me. And so, when she's leaving, Andy is basically like, this conversation was between me and you. I'm not going to say nothing to Fatima about it. And she was like, oh, yeah, you going to tell her about it. It's like, why would you think she would want to talk to Fatima about whatever the hell you saying, Karen? Get over yourself. So she's like, no, I promise I'm not going to say anything. And she was like, oh, you going to tell her? Then she just was like, okay, when she said it again. Whatever. Bye, Karen. Get your ass to the shop. So now moving on from there, Danny had called up Sabrina or whatever, but Sabrina really didn't have time to talk. She like, girl, we got to go meet with this lawyer. This is the lawyer that Bayo set me up with that's supposed to be so good. And like I said, I was confused. I did not remember Bayo setting up a lawyer, okay? I guess it came back to me a little bit after the fact. But at that time of first watching the episode, I didn't remember it. I only remembered Bayo having to do with as far as giving them the money part or whatever the case may be. And she's saying how, this lawyer is supposed to be really good and she's supposed to be meeting up with Maurice, so she ain't got time to chit chat with Danny, right? And then Danny gets off the phone with her and she's like, oh, all frustrated, okay? with herself or whatever the case may be. You know, you got Fatima coming out still looking pissed off. Zach over here snoring, okay, in his third damn dream. And she's listening to a message from Andi where Andi is saying that, you know, the word is that they're pushing back the Johnson meeting to 5 p.m., but she need her to move up, you know, some appointments earlier. And she know it's early, but she know that Fatima be up and at him early, so call her. So Fatima just basically looks at Zach, you know, she got her shoes off or whatever, I guess, you know, basically trying to make no noise. She looking at him or whatever, and he's snoring, and she got had to leave and just shake her head. Now he gets waking up right after that, you know, by damn Karen, and she like, good morning, okay, it's morning, and he's like, what time is it or whatever, right? And he's looking around, seeing that Fatima already got up and left. So he's just basically like, what's up? And, you know, she was like, oh, well, I'm on my way to the shop now. It's 7:45 a.m. And so he's like, damn. So he basically was like, you know, she said she wanted to get to the shop a little earlier, whatever. Can he still meet her? And then he like, yeah, I could do that. So he basically was saying that it was going to take him about 45 minutes. And she was like, you know, oh, well, that gives her time to go get something for breakfast. So he like, okay, cool. So he was like, well, she gonna talk. He said he had to take a shower, whatever. So 45 minutes. So he said no to the breakfast. Here she go. But I can get you the biscuits we used to eat. And he like, nah, I'm good. You sure? Yeah, I'm good. You know. So she was like, you know, the biscuits we used to love so much. And he was like, nah, I'm good. The whole time his head started looking around for Dan Fatima. So she's like, okay, well, I'll see you soon. So as soon as he get off the phone, he Fatima. So he basically, you know, was like, calls her, I see you made up the damn bed just on one side or whatever, right? And he's like, where you at? Did you go to work? Did you go to the gym? He's like, call me back. You know, I see you still acting a daggone fool and, you know, got your attitude or whatever. Then he gonna act like a whole little baby and mess up the side of the bed that she had already fixed up. So, you know, he got had to get ready or whatever, right? Now, we move on from there. And we basically had, you know, Fatima. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hayden, child. Nobody gives a damn about this. Hayden basically told Gary that he went to Vegas and he like, I'm so glad you went to Vegas and had a, you know, nice time, whatever. Good for you. And he's like, oh, but I got married. And Gary is like, what? And he's like, yeah, but I don't know her. He said, okay, well, you a lawyer, get it annulled. Oh, yeah, but I could get it annulled, but I really do like her. So it's like, which one is it? What are you coming to complain to me for if you went and got married to somebody you don't know? Now he want to talk about, well, maybe I should have looked into her a little further. I did look into her, but I didn't look into her on the way. I looked into her a little bit, you know, so basically was Gary is like, I told you to vet her. I thought you said you vetted her. Yeah, I did vet her, but I vetted her a little bit. And he like, oh, she got you wide damn open, huh? So he's like, you know, don't say it. And he's like, yeah, she got you or whatever, right? Now, in the meantime, Gary is also getting frustrated because he's like, listen, I ain't got time for you in this mess, you know. He says, well, you deserve somebody to have in your life. Like, be happy, go ahead, be good. You know what I'm saying? I got bigger fish to fry, big problems that I'm thinking about. So I did find it hilarious when Gary was like, well, what is your problem? What is it? Something to do with Andi again? He was like, man, don't nobody want to hear about that shit. Okay, we already know she don't want you. And then he's like, nah, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. Go ahead, tell me about it. So he basically is like, Andi was mean to me. She was saying mean things. And, you know, Hayden basically ends up telling him like, oh, she didn't really mean that or whatever. What she do mean is that she wants your damn money. So, you know, they go back and forth about that, but he told him to give him all the information. And if she even had, you know, somebody that was on a slave ship, you know, he supposedly knows somebody in every damn city. And if she had somebody on a slave ship, her ancestors would come up. That's how deep he gonna dig. So he basically tells him he got him or whatever. And then when Hayden is leaving out, he's steadily cracking jokes on him like, you know, Mr. Husband, and he's saying it's too soon or whatever. And it's just like, girl, whatever. Nobody cares. The only one that is gonna care though and be pissed is damn Fatima, because she wasn't supposed to be doing all of that. Now we move over to Sabrina, child, coming into Calvin. Calvin's still on this couch. Now please tell me Calvin haven't been on this couch for 24 hours, ain't washed his ass, ain't moved a damn muscle. He's supposed to be this fascinated with this ugly behind furniture, child. that he's still sitting in the same spot rubbing on these damn pillows, and Sabrina come walking in and is basically like, ooh, I got this tacky furniture from, like, I see you got some furniture. So he's basically like, yeah, that's my furniture that I got the storage. That she gonna talk about some, oh, okay, well, it's cute, got a little color coordination going on, and he say thank you. So he's telling her how he been trying to wake Maurice up, and Maurice been refusing to wake up, and they both yelling his name, and she go back in the room. Maurice coming out with this blue silk damn robe on, and he basically refusing to go. He's telling her he's not gonna go because this is Bayo's lawyer, and he was homophobic. He don't like him, so he probably want him to go to jail anyway, and boo hoo hoo. So again, I could understand him reacting like that because it is Bayo's lawyer, but at the same time, sometimes Maurice and his shenanigans, it just be like, this is not the time or the place. Our lives is on the line. If we don't show up and talk to this lawyer and figure out what the hell is going on so that we can know how to fight to prevent ourselves from going, back to jail and being able to get jobs and so on and so forth. Like, where does that leave us? Let's at least go and talk to the man and see what he's talking about and see if he could possibly help us out. Child, we get a whole bunch of back and forth for a good 10 damn minutes that could have been on something else. Or for Calvin to have to bribe him because Sabrina basically was over it. Like, yo, I'm leaving. If you want to sit here and jeopardize yourself, she was like, I can't with this. She was saying, God, please give me the strength or whatever the case may be. And Calvin had to end up bribing him once she left out and say that he gonna take him to his favorite restaurant and let him get whatever he want. And Maurice talking about some, oh, you should have led with that. I said, boy, let damn Maurice fry, because at this point it's his fault that they in this situation any damn way. Now, back at the office, Fatima sees Andi walking past, and she basically is letting her know that she set up everything for her, whatever, and she's like, thank you. They saying good morning to each other. She let her know she got her message, and she's like, she left the file on the desk. So she like, well, wait, where you going? Are you good? She was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get my day started. She was like, well, slow down, girl. What's going on? So, Fatima was like, Andi, don't do that. And she's like, do what? So Andi is basically like, what are you talking about? And Fatima's like, you know what? She was like, honestly, I don't got time for this morning. So Andi goes, oh, and then Fatima's like, oh, she was like, the way he stormed out yesterday. So she's like, yeah, he just left me and ignored me like I was nothing. So Andy's like, yeah, that was pretty bad. And she was like, yeah, it was, right? So she was like, well, what did he say? And, basically Fatima's like, I didn't talk to him. She's like, well, that's not good. You didn't talk to him. Like, why? She was like, no, Andi, because you know me. She was like, I got to calm down. I got to relax, rationalize things, relax, release, because the bitch inside of me be on some other stuff. And she was like, you know how I get. So she was like, yeah, I know, and he knows. I think we all know at this point. So she said it takes her a while, to go ahead and calm down or whatever. So she felt like she needed to stay away from him, and that she had also left before he woke up as well and got the hell up out of there. So she was like, I need to, basically not be there and just keep myself busy. So Andi was like, yeah, well, I don't think that's necessarily the right way. But, at the end of the day, I support you. So when she was telling her that she left the house early so she wouldn't have to talk to him, she's like, it's just, so she was like, well, I don't think that's going to do any good because he's here. Okay, Zach done hurried up and ran out that damn house and ran over to the freaking office. And she was like, please, like telling Andi to help her. She's like, I can't. So Andy's like, yeah, of course. Meanwhile, I felt bad for the secretary child because she trying to run ahead of Zach and tell them that, he's here, whatever. And Andi talking about the protocol is to call, don't let it happen again. I said, Andi, you really should have been checking Zach. But Andi did hold it down and keep saying, like, we had a busy morning this morning. We got stuff that we got to do. She was like, she had to go ahead and get this brief together for this case that we have or whatever the case may be. And so even when the secretary was like, should I take him back to the front? She's like, yeah, Zach gonna talk about something. No, I ain't going nowhere. Like, what's going on or whatever. And he was like, don't hit me with this bullshit. Being mad rude. Like, this is her place of business. So, Andi asked Fatima if she could go get her recorder. And Fatima was like, yeah. And Zach was like, seriously, you just gonna walk away from me like that? He's like, you got up and you left out the house without saying nothing. Like, Zach, this is not the time or the place to be saying this. It's really not. Like, this is where she works at the end of the day. When the hell do you go to work? Because I'm sorry, on Zatima, at least we see that you go to work somewhere. On Sisters, child, all we see you is chasing behind damn Fatima at her job, and now you over here coming to her job to tell her that you're going to damn Karen's job. Like, why would you think that's a good idea, right? So of course, as we get into this conversation that he ends up having with Andi, because Andi's like, you really cannot be this damn slow or clueless. Like, are you serious right now? You don't get what she's upset about. You don't get what she's mad about. You know, she's doing her job. So he's like, she's really that mad. She's like, well, he's like, well, what? You know, why don't you break it on down for me? Well, what? What happened? She was like, really? You don't have a clue as to why she's upset? And he's like, enlighten me, Andi, please. So she was like, yesterday don't ring a damn bell for you, how you made her feel. And he's over here like, how did I make her feel? Please tell me. You know, at the end of the day, I was worried about Karen. Karen could have been dead. We was all worried. She was like, yeah, you stormed out of here going to see Karen or whatever. He was like, yeah, because I thought she was dead. We all did. So she was like, yeah, but we didn't, any of us did not leave our significant, other alone. He was like, we thought Karen was dead. She was like, yeah, but how do you think that made her feel? Like, basically, long story short, she's trying to say to Zach, like, you don't get it, do you, right? He's like, oh, we're talking about a death, Andi. It don't get no more, serious than that or whatever the case may be. But he's not hearing the part when she keeps saying to him, Zach, I get that. Yeah, she almost died, but we're talking about your future spouse and how you made her feel. That part of the conversation is steadily going over his head. And he had the nerve in this moment, okay, where you have somebody that is actually Karen's best friend and Fatima's friend, who could be potentially your baby mama, and the other one is your fiance. She's cool with both of them. And she's telling you that you are wrong because you are not thinking about the way you made your spouse that you are supposed to care about feel. And he's going, I wasn't trying to make her feel any type of way. And she was like, well, you may not have meant to make her feel that way, but that's the way you made her feel, so just give her some time. You know how she gets. And then he gonna say, yeah, I'm trying. I know how y'all do. I know how y'all get. And so she's like, well, what do you mean by that? And he gonna say, y'all woman with y'all woman shit. And that's where you lose me, Zach, because I was actually defending you last week. I got your part of how serious it was. I got your part of she almost died, and I went there the same way that all of y'all did. And now he was like, I was just coming here to tell her now that I'm going to see Karen right now to help her with her shop. And Andy's like, what? Like, out of everything I just said, that's really what you would want to come here to tell her now? Do you hear what you're even saying? Do you hear yourself speaking? And then he's going, what? And this is the times she's like, what are you doing, Zach? Why are you going to do that? And he was like, so she's your best friend. She lost everything. I'm just trying to help her with her salon. Why is that bad? And she's like, okay, never mind. She was like, he was like, thank you, do me a favor. He was like, can you just tell her, because I don't want no shit for this. She said, baby, you so far up shit's creek, okay, it's too late. And it's true, because literally she's trying to tell you what you did wrong, and the next two sentences you say, or words you say, 2 seconds later is, I'm going to Karen's shop to help her, when she's still upset at the fact that you just ran to Karen yesterday, Zach. Like, this is when I think Zach is a little slow. Because he just was not comprehending it at all. It was like, peekaboo, 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 right in his face. And he just clearly was not getting it, right? And so she's like, do whatever the heck you gonna do. So he basically was like, all right, I'm really just trying to help or whatever. And she like, Zach, stop trying to help. And I think that advice and what she said to Karen at the beginning of the episode has been like some of the realest things. And also when she finally gave Gary the breakdown that Andi has ever said in a long time, if ever, child. So then he got had to leave, and he just going, damn. Now, child, we get to the lawyer office, and the lawyer's actually saying what all of us has been saying. He's like, it's not much to this daggone case if we really being real. We got Maurice coming in, acting a fool, acting like a child, being so embarrassing. It take him about 10 minutes to find a damn seat. He want to hop all around. Oh, it's only 2 chairs, and talk about how the man office is, and end up sitting on Calvin's damn, lap. And then as he's playing the tape of Q, or talking about Q and saying he's really not a strong witness, they can kind of have leeway when it comes to him because of his past and all the criminal stuff that he's been involved in. You got Maurice talking over him with that, and Harrison and carrying on, and oh yeah, he ain't about shit, that bitch, and blah blah blah. And then, the lawyer gets to the fact that the part that can make this case complicated is like, it could be an easy case, but it could be a hard case at the same time, right? It could go either way, but the fact that the DA wants to bring them down, so bad is really against them or whatever, right? And so the part of the case that's easy is actually Q, because like I said, he's not really a good witness, but the part of it that makes it bad is they got Maurice on tape, of course, trying to be sarcastic, trying to joke, according to him, right? But the jury is not going to take it as a joke, and it's probably not going to be in no joking mood. They're going to, say that he could have really been saying that in a serious way. There's no way for them to know that he was joking or being sarcastic when it came to that part. So on the one hand, he could possibly get this thrown out, and on the other hand, they could be facing up to 15 years. And of course, Maurice is like, and Sabrina's like, oh my God, are you serious? And they got to keep telling him to stop it, and the lawyer got to tell him not to use that language in the office, and it was just actually very embarrassing. Now we get to Karen at the shop, and Aaron behind is there, child, with this whole white damn get up. He in the back cleaning, even though nobody ain't told him to clean shit. Nobody even supposed to be inside. Pam show up, and Aaron giving her attitude. It was two ladies that had showed up previous to that, I'm assuming just to come and be nosy, because obviously if the shop had a fire, it ain't opening, child. But she's saying, we gonna keep y'all posted when we gonna reopen or whatever, and we'll let y'all know when it's gonna be. I'll give you a call. And so they say have a great day, and they leave. And when Pam roll up, she's saying good morning. Karen, what are you doing here? And she's like, I came to see how bad it's. Oh, I wish you would have been here early when we was open. So Pam like, back from the dead, giving me a reading. I see. Then all of a sudden Aaron coming around the corner, and she like, what's he doing here? And she like, yeah, what are you doing here, Aaron? And then he like, hey, I was just trying to help out. I was just in there cleaning up. And she's like, what? And he was like, yeah, I just wanted to help out. And she said, well, they said no one inside. He was like, I don't care about that, Karen. I said, yeah, let him get sick from the damn chemicals. I'm sorry. And let him end up in the damn hospital, and maybe he followed damn directions then, right? And so Pam talking about, oh, well, you need to tell him thank you. And he's saying to Pam, you don't look like you dressed to help. And she was like, well, I'm here to point and give everybody else directions that's going to be doing the helping, right? So, Karen does say thank you to him after Pam tells her to say thank you. And she's asking how bad is it? And he was like, well, you probably want to see for yourself. And she's like, really, no, I don't. So she was like, is it that bad? And he was like, no, honestly, it's not that bad, but you have to be mindful of the chemicals. And he was saying maybe she could come and look at it from the side door, because the fact that she's pregnant, she should not be inside, right? And so she was like, she do need to see it or whatever, right? And so just as, he's basically saying the whole thing about maybe she could look from the side door and at least take a peek. And then, Pam is like, hold up, isn't the dead body still in there? And they like, poor man or whatever. And they say, yeah, no, he's already been moved. He's already gone. And just as they saying that, Zach pull up. Here go Pam. Oh, no wonder you didn't want Aaron here. I said, you know what, Pam? You is just as messy as can be, child. She was like, oh, shit. No wonder you didn't want him here. And then, Karen has to say, Pam, stop it. So Zach is like, nice work, Pam, or whatever. She like, thank you. And then, Karen telling her to mind her business. So, here go Aaron. What's up, Zach? And, Zach talking about nice suit. This the best I think I've ever seen you look. So he was like, thanks. He was like, I think I got a youth size in there for you. So he says, are you actually here to help and to be useful, or are you just trying to come and fight? And I'm glad we didn't have a big argument with Zach and Aaron, because I'm over that too. So Karen says she needs to speak to him for a minute. Can she go ahead and give him a minute? And Aaron is like, sure. And then Pam, he mad. And then she told Pam to go inside too. And, she's like, nosy, just nosy. So she's like, sorry. And, Zach says it's all good. So she's like, well, I ain't been on, inside yet. And he was like, yeah, it's probably good that you don't go inside, because it's probably not good for the baby. So she was like, no, I don't think it is. So he was like, you good though, right? She was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. So he's basically saying to her, he couldn't even finish, child. He was like, Pam, Karen, I got to tell you something. Here she go. You don't. And giving him a kiss on the cheek. Who's standing on the side like this, bitch, right when they finish? Fatima on that ass. Okay, so now he's, for the next scenes, he's saying, Fatima, you seen she gave me a kiss on the cheek, and then he's like, where's your ring at, child? I'm telling y'all, they keep playing in our face with this whole foolishness, child. Ring around the rosy. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. But y'all tell me, the question was, who is more clueless, Karen, Zach, or are they equally clueless? Put it in the comments. Anything that I left or didn't talk about, put that in the comments, y'all. Let's discuss it down there. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky, y'all. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you are so inclined. Until next time, y'all. Toodaloo.